Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Psychic Diaries. I'm Michael Lamport, producer of the television show Rescue Mediums, and with me is, as usual, the wonderful co-host, Jackie Dennison, who is the host of Rescue Mediums. And today on Psychic Diaries, we're going in a slightly different direction than usually about the psychic world, but we think it ties in really nicely. We're very lucky to have Kim North as our guest, and she is a traditional herbalist. I always don't know whether to say herbalist or herbalist. The H is silent, as in fox. And wildcraft and herbal remedies. And she owns and operates the North Roots Herb Farm in southwestern Ontario, which is a family-owned operation. And so we're just going to find out and let our viewers know a little bit about the land of herbs. So thank you so much for being with us, Kim.
Well, I'm very honored that you have me on your show. Thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Well, just one first question. What made you initially want to get into herbalism and study herbs? Like what was it that was the driving force behind that for you?
Well, for me, I really truthfully, ever since I was a child, I was interested in the herbs. My father would, we'd have mints and things in the gardens, and I would always eat them. And my mother got really sick and with cancer years ago. And I found honesty that the medical institute was very barbaric in their healing ways, and didn't quite understand it. Because from my years of study with it, I realized that, they just covered the systems up and didn't really do the true health of what we are. So it really helped me decide to go to that journey and to go down that path. Because you guys know about psychic things, I do believe in the natural world more so, and I think it's been covered up of what the truth is of who we are. So it's quite a beautiful way to live. You can have magic here if you choose to, or you can go into the conventional matrix, if you want to call it, that treats with all sorts of drugs and media that tells you how to look a certain way, or you can follow your heart and listen. Everything has a consciousness here and a vibration, which is lovely, and that is the truth of who we really are. And so it's been quite the journey, and I've seen so many people heal, in a physical and an emotional way. A big time emotional, because a lot of time the physical problem is an emotional problem that just manifests. So
I mean, nature really is it's a natural medicine, isn't it?
It truly is. It truly is.
It was here long before pharmaceutical companies knew how to mix ingredients to make these magic potions that they give to us now. The natural way, that's been done since the dawn of time, hasn't it? So there's got to be something in it,
Oh, absolutely. I find that with the natural way, there's pharmaceuticals, they haven't been around that long, like so when they did come, they started funding some of the universities, and when they start funding, they start owning. And that's actually, and then they pushed the natural ways out and called them quackery. With herbs and versus pharmaceutical, like I live in a rural area, and a lot of the herbs, or a lot of the food that's being growing now is a lot of genetically modified herbs, like, or not herbs, sorry, foods like corn and soybeans. And they use a chemical called Roundup Ready, which is a glyphosate, which goes onto the herbs, or not, sorry, I keep saying herbs, onto the food. And they spray it, and it's highly, highly toxic. It's a neurotoxin. So it goes into the spine, you know, it breeds cancer. And then they feed this to the animals, you know, so, and then we eat the animals. So it's very dangerous what's going on in the world. And most people don't understand, like, the whole, all of what is happening, even with, you know, these shots that they're giving out, opposed, you know, to everything. Like, we have this thing where we just trust. Yeah. And we've given our power away. We don't trust ourselves anymore. We are supposed to have sovereignty over our temples, and, you know, have it through the creator sort of thing, and be able to create. We're here to create our own lives, good, bad, and ugly. We do create our own lives. So it's really important to bring that power back into us, because what the media tries to do, in my thoughts, is help you create the life they want you to have. So you are sick, you believe in their chemicals, you wear their clothes, you know, you get your facelifts, the whole thing, you know, because, you know, they've made even aging to be a dangerous thing, right? Where really in our tribal times, aging was considered an honor. And you would actually listen to your crones. You would listen to the elders, because they had history of knowledge from their journey here. Yeah, it's very important to get back to this.
I agree with you. It's completely true, because I think in the area of southwestern Ontario that you're in the past, it was primarily the Algonquin indigenous tribe, I believe. And
they had, but there was also the neutrals, and they were probably the first ones, and they were I think they're called the Anawandas, or neutrals. And they were taller people, but I mean, they fought too, right, in between.
No, but what I mean is that the indigenous people of North America and around the world have historically handed down through generations their, like you have just said, their knowledge of the land and how we must treat the land and other creatures, and you know, be thankful for it. And I mean, I think that's, to me, why, like, herbology is so fascinating, because it's really, really real. It's like from the land. It's from us.
It is.
It isn't from some factory in Montreal or New York or Paris.
Right. Even when they say it's natural, and they take it from the land and they cut it up and they put it into tablets, like, truly, that's not natural. You know, they wouldn't have done that. And it does lose its vitality and its energy. And it doesn't matter what the company is and how good they say they are, it still loses that vitality. And depending on how it grows, like, we go on the land and we do drum it. And when I'm yesterday, an example, I was out working with the peppermint that I have out there, and the flies were bugging me, and I was getting a bit pissed off about it, you know. So I was like, oh gosh, if you want me to, you know, work on you guys, tell me, like, this is driving me nuts, because they were really biting. And I was almost ready to, you know, pack it in. And just everything communicates with you. And they just somehow said to me, you know, in their way of communicating, you know, just pick it and chew it. I chewed a bit of it, you know, I thanked it, and I took some, and then I rubbed it all over my legs, and they never bothered me after that. Not once. I got to finish the row. It was amazing, right? So I'm like, thank you, right, of course.
Wow.
Right. So
who do you think was giving you that information? Do you think that was, like, from the creator, or do you think it was a spirit guide, or do you think it was your connection to the earth's energy that was, you know, to your ancestors, maybe?
I think it was, yeah, or it could have been all. It could, you know, like, how do we know? But I believe the plants, you know, they have a huge consciousness also.
Yes.
So they do communicate with you. They just do. So for me, I took it as a plant speaking to me.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just so powerful. Like, I mean, people have no concept on how powerful they are.
I'm ever worried, Kim, with your organic farm, your herb farm, if somebody had a farm next to you and it became one of those ones that get sprayed with the chemicals, that wind or something could possibly come over to your place? Or can you just stop anybody making one of those generic, you know, like chemically assisted places? Can you say, no, you can't have that next to my farm?
So I'm certified organic. So we can't have anything for my farm. And we're actually audited every year. I just finished my audit on July 30th. So they come in and they go through all my paperwork because I have to keep everything. And then they go to the field and they go through it. But I mean, she knows, like the girl that was there, she's a beautiful woman. Just by looking at her field, you can tell how nature and natural it is. There are stipulations for that. So many feet away, and you have to have barriers.
Oh, I see.
So the next farm over to us is a asparagus farm. And you think that their food is good. I would never eat conventional asparagus. Again, I grow my own now for myself and my family because they spray the hell out of it. You know, they just do. It's that mentality that's been brainwashed into us after World War II sort of thing, right? Like, you need to spray, you need to spray. But if you've seen what the chemicals were, you wouldn't take that and put that on your plate before you ate. No. You just wouldn't. You know, I would rather eat a bug. I mean, bugs have protein, right? So we have a barrier of a tree line there. And then the area that is between his field and ours is also blow sand. So we don't use it. We just let it be natural. So it's, yeah, so there has to be a barrier for anyone that does do organic. They have to have a barrier.
Good.
Yeah, so it is protected. Now that's Ontario and Canada. There's all different stipulations all over the world. So when people buy organic, they should look into that themselves to see what is allowed and what is not. Thank goodness.
What do you grow there, Kim?
We grow, we have all sorts of different herbs. We have valerian, a lot of the mint family. The mint families are peppermint, spearmint, lavender, mountain mint, you know, bergamot, oregano, thyme. Those are all mint family. Then we have mugwort, which is a beautiful female medicine, great for dream time, great to recall your dreams. It's Artemisia vulgaris, it's called. So it's a moon goddess herb, and you pick it on the full moon. Very beautiful, beautiful plant. Yeah, maybe I'll send you some, Jackie.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, there. So yeah, we have quite a few herbs. I'm also growing skullcap, which is a mint too, which is great for nervous system, calming the nervous system. All the mint family, believe it or not, they all have different personalities, but they all have the same, also one thing in common, and all mints will help calm the nervous system. Which is what we need before you can even heal yourself. Your nervous system has to be calmed, and so you can the rest of your body can work properly, right? Because we have a sympathetic system and a parasympathetic system in our bodies, and they don't work together. So kind of like when your mom would say, you know, after you eat, wait a half hour before you go swimming.
Yes.
Well, there's some truth behind that, because you just ate. And that's your parasympathetic system that digests your food. So your parasympathetic system digests the food, and it helps you heal, and it helps with sleeping, you healing. That's why you shouldn't eat before you go to bed either. So your sympathetic system is your fight flight. So that's the one that when you run or you walk, or what's going on right now with all the fear mongering that's being taken over, it's easy to get people to direct them in that direction of being controlled, because they have their sympathetic system is always turned on from the fear. And when that happens, you can't digest your food, you can't heal, you can't sleep. It's all this big. So mints are wonderful to help with that, and they also help with digestion. So
when you go into your field, I would imagine the aromas from the plants, it must be astounding.
It is
beautiful.
It is. I've gone into the fields times where, like, I'm riding my bike there for exercise. It's not enough to hoe, right, or weed. So I'm riding my bike too now, and if I'm in a mood, you know, because we're human, we get into moods, and I'll be like chatting away to the herbs, like, you know, kind of bitching at them really, and it's really funny because all of a sudden this gust of their scent, of their aromatic scent comes over you, and it's like whoosh, and it just calms you right down into reality again. And, you know, of course you wear your bare feet, like you, or not wear them, you have bare feet to ground yourself. And it's amazing. It really is. Like, you actually can, like, there's a heartbeat, right, of the earth.
What is your greatest seller with your herbs, and what is the purpose? Is it more like is it used for like relaxation, like with bathing, or as a tea, or because I know you do teas, don't you?
I do. One of my really nice ones is called Mellow Mood. And that one, a friend of mine made together when we had the tea company together. And it has, you know, it has a bit of mints in it, and it has some nutritive herbs in it too. And that helps right now because of the way everything is. I find people need to be more calm so they can ground themselves again and get their sense. I also have one called Cold and Flu, which is amazing. It has, you know, bone set in it, and that one seems to go off the shelves also. People find it works really well, the Cold and Flu.
Do you have valerian in your the relaxation tea?
I do not. I grow valerian. Valerian is a very sensitive herb. It's a high aromatic herb with essential oils, and it's very difficult to, when you steep it, if you boil it, you can lose those properties of the valerian, the consistencies of it. So I think when I do valerian, I usually make a tincture with valerian. So it's made with alcohol instead, to keep the properties of the valuable properties that we use for that.
Right.
And it doesn't have the greatest flavor either. You know, like some people, I love the smell of valerian, but some people think the aroma of it smells like, you know, dirty socks. I don't think it does. I think it's very earthy, but some people really don't like the smell. But
I love the smell of rosemary. Love rosemary.
Oh, I love rosemary too. And that's a very hard one for us to grow here because it's so Mediterranean. I do have some in pots to use for myself, but it is lovely. It does a lot. It's very high in volatile oils. You know, it's great it's an antiviral, you know. A lot of the mints are, though.
What are you unable to grow because of the climate? Because as we all, well, maybe a lot of the viewers don't know, but southwestern Ontario, well, a lot of Canada has very fluctuating environments. Like
Very much.
in the summer, it can be like plus 35, and in the winter it can be minus 35.
Isn't that so?
Yeah.
So we're in the tropical, they call it the tropical zone where we are.
Yes.
Mhm. So we really, our summers, like I remember years ago when I was young, I used to work in tobacco. And, you know, I remember September being the frost, the first frost. And
Ooh.
now I can be out in the field in October barefoot and there's no
Wow.
frost. Yeah. So it's changing.
Mm.
It's wonderful. That is.
Oh, yeah.
I find that our springs are cooler and our falls are warmer right now.
Now, do you think plants adapt to that?
I do. And so do we. We really do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have to.
We have the same, we have actually with a plant and who we are, we have a very much similar digestive systems actually. So that's why plants are so good for us too. And it's really important, the mycorrhiza in the dirt. So it really, growing food starts with your dirt because there is, it's called mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is in the worms. Like, so if you have lots of worms, they produce that mycorrhiza through their stool, right? Their feces. So it works really well. So when you put all these chemicals on the earth constantly, you're killing it all. And then your land actually becomes sterile and there's nothing good in the food anymore. So another thing you can do, I truly believe, is if that comes, you know, push comes to shove and it gets worse, because it could, right, until it gets better, who knows what's going to happen. You know, praying over your food and blessing it can change the structure of all things, right? Your water, you get into the shower, you thank the water. You know, when you're having your shower, the whole thing, it does matter because it all starts with your thoughts. So thoughts are really who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, we did an experiment with some plants here at Feathers, me and my business partner, Steve. And we did an experiment on purpose. So one plant, we showered all about, we told it, we felt stupid really, but we were telling this plant how much we loved it and how wonderful it was.
No, that's beautiful.
We ignored the other one entirely because it was an experiment, right? And we watered them both and we fed them both the same, but the attention was completely different. The one that we showered all of the attention on thrived, and the other one, it still survived, but it was just lackluster. It wasn't, you could see it wasn't as strong and healthy. So I'm totally, I love hugging trees as well.
You what?
Love to hug the trees.
Yeah, oh, that's so important. It really is.
Yeah.
I remember, you guys, I remember being in Bacchus, which is just behind here. It's a beautiful conservation area. And I was walking with a friend and we were coming up to where the waterfalls is there. And I said, I have to go to that cedar tree. And so I walked over to the cedar tree and there was a hat pin stuck in the cedar tree, a hat pin. And it actually called me to pull it out. Yeah. So, if we can just, and we all have that mystical beauty. And I think that, even the Celtics, you both sound, are you English too, Michael?
Yes, originally,
yeah. So, the Druids, my gosh, what they knew, they killed them all off. They knew so much. So we were indigenous also.
Yes,
we were. So this is our history. This is our ancestral blood of living, and the fairies and the trees and the hawthorn trees. My goodness, you would be hung if you hurt a hawthorn tree. And hawthorn is all about the heart. It's they give you all these blood pressure pills and and yet there's all these remedies, like hawthorn will heal your heart, will heal your the essence of you, your emotional, right? Because a heartbreak starts with emotions, and heart attacks are emotions.
Yeah,
right? I agree with you. We have to look more into plants, because when you said, Michael, are you English? One thing I do remember with plants.
I love your top. It's beautiful.
Is walking down my street where I grew up as a kid, and walking along a brook to school, and I would get stung by some nettles, but always right next to the nettles, there were what we used to call, I don't know what they are, but we used to call them dock leaves.
Dock leaves, yeah.
And you'd pick a leaf off, and you'd rub it on the sting, and the sting would go away.
Okay, so a dock leaf, would it be like a yellow dock or something? Like,
no, it was like a big green leaf.
Green,
right.
Yeah. It's nature. It is nature. You know, as Michael said, you get stung by the nettle. There's the dock leaf. There's your antidote. Straight
Right?
away.
How beautiful.
The earth is just saying, okay, yep, we've got some bad things, but we got some good things that can fix the bad things.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Well, actually, stinging nettles is an amazing herb. It's great for the kidneys. And I had a lady who's a nurse who was here, and she said she went to the doctors, and she was only using, in 2007, she was only using 40% or 50% of her kidneys. And they said that was normal. The doctor said it was normal, and that, you know, most people only use that much of their kidneys. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is not normal. You know, you should be using 100%, right? Because it's your kidneys. So, I mean, because you're going to end up with, you know, high blood pressure, all sorts of things with kidneys, kidney failure. So she left it and went back. And this year she was only using 60% of her kidneys were lost. So nettles is amazing for the kidneys. You know, it's such a beautiful, easy remedy for the kidneys. And also all the little spikes that are on it, all the little needles that there are, they help with inflammation. So as a massage therapist, I am also, I used to, if someone had a really bad sciatic problem and it was in the springtime and I couldn't help them so much with my massaging, I would suggest, why don't we use the nettle leaf, because it helps with the inflammation. And so we would, you know, I would actually take a nettle stalk and just sort of hit them in that area of the sciatic, around the hip and down the leg, and it would sting, but they swore by it. You know, it would take some time and it would go away. So it's,
you can use it as a tea though, can't you, as well?
We use it as a tea all the time.
Yeah.
Even in the root is great for prostate, you know, so, and the seed has, you know, the seed's very good too. It's nutritive, you know, so, I mean, everything we have. And the wonderful thing about herbs, when you use them, is once they're done, you can put them in the compost and they go back to the earth and they heal the earth. Whereas the pharmaceuticals, and I'm not knocking pharmaceuticals, don't think that's what it's all about, but this is the truth. This is truth, you know. So you take your pharmaceutical drugs that are they are all toxin. They're toxic to your body. They may help it. I mean, we do need them. There are some that are very important to have, of course, but they poison the earth. They poison the earth. They do not give back. They take.
I agree.
Take. So lovely.
Do you teach people, you know, this kind of knowledge? Do you share that knowledge? Do you do workshops and things about your herbs? And
I do. I do. I had 2 this year so far in the spring. And I'm looking to do another one. August is quite a busy month also, but I'm going to try and slip one in. And I will teach in September. I will start teaching more.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of things can students expect to learn in a workshop?
I think the most important thing is to know that what herb I'm teaching, to know all about it, and to know, you know, the constituents in it, which are the chemical constituents, but also the energies of it, the energies, the emotion of it, you know, the whole plant. Instead of, when you read it in a book, they only teach you the constituents, right? So it's much more than that. It just is. It can go into your body and change the train of it and heal without side effects, you know, beautiful. And to teach them, you know, that it is an alternative, you know, to learn, because that's been lost, you know, that these are not dangerous the way people have been taught, or that they don't even work. So the thing is, with big corporations, they take over the herbs, you know, because they've taken over a lot of the herbs. They take them and they put them in tea bags. They cut them up so fine. They put them into a tea bag. The tea bag has to be, whether it's bleached or unbleached, it has to have some sort of a glue on it, which is toxic, right? There's not even a teaspoon of tea in there. And they drink it and they say, well, it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work, you know? And who knows where it even came from, the herb itself, you know, like how are they growing it? How are they, what is the earth like that they grow it on? Do they pray over the earth? Do they love it? Do they, you know, do they give back? How do they harvest it?
I think people can also find out so easily, though, is that, because I feel this, and I know that you do, Kim, and I'm positive that you do, Jackie, too, is that just going for a walk in nature can alleviate so much personal stress. And like you say, it's like the land is saying, okay, breathe. It's going to be okay. Just breathe through it. And I find that all the time, even like in downtown Toronto, even going to a park that obviously is controlled by the corporation, blah, blah, but it's still a bit
lovely.
nature.
It is, absolutely, because the plants that are in that park don't know that. They're there. They have their consciousness. They love being there. They're there for you. You know, they're there to give you that oxygen.
But I think what you just said there is very funny, because it's like, you know, there was the old stories of the city mouse and the country mouse. You know, well, this is a city tree and this is a country tree.
You can hear the plants at the end of the day, you know, when everybody's gone home for the day and the park is maybe closed for the day, and they're all having a conversation about, you know, who's giving them the most love that day. Oh, well, this lady was looking at me adoringly. You know, you can just imagine
how
that
lovely. And they really do speak, because they're very intelligent. If you take a bunch of trees in a forest and a deer comes and starts to nibble on that leaf, that tree will send tannins, and tannins are a bitter constituent, a bitter chemical. They'll send those chemicals down into the leaves, and then the deer will eat it, and it'll, right, it doesn't taste good, and go on to the next tree. But what they do is they actually take their roots and they go out and rest of the trees to tell them that there's, you know, danger. And so then they'll all release the tannins. So it's just amazing that, you know, these should be kindergarten 101. And what they're teaching in school is so not even close to being real, you know, anymore, or ever was. It was more of a control to control the population. You know, so it's quite beautiful, all these things. So we need to have more people on board to learn the truth of who we really are and why we're here. You know, we're here to create a lovely spot for you as a human being, to know that you are a beautiful being, and to love yourself and love your temple and take care of it. And in turn, when you've got that energy in you, you send that out to the rest. You know, and the plants help with that. You know, they've helped me heal. They really have. I wouldn't be the way I am right now without the plants.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we're definitely going to put a link up at the end of this broadcast on the site, to your site.
Oh, Kim. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, and if you're in Toronto, you should come out and meet me. I think that would be lovely.
I would love to one day. Yes. Yeah, I'll send you an email, and because I still have a lot of friends in Port Dover too. So
lovely. Yeah, we can make a day of it. You know, we can have tea and a little snack, and just I'd love you to see the farm.
I would love it too. I will.
And you also, Jackie, I've told you when you come here, you have a place to stay.
Yeah, I know, and that is so lovely, you know. And I may just turn up on your doorstep one day and say, Kim, remember when you said. But it would be great to do a workshop. I'd love to do a workshop with you there. That would be amazing, you know, where we can bring the spiritual aspect into the whole thing as well.
Oh, the spiritual aspect is so important.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
I should say, because it is a spiritual show, my tea company was with Christine Dennis, who is a beautiful herbalist also, and we did the tea company together, and we used to call it Herbal Posy. And she went off, like she got really busy with her practice, and so I bought her out, and we used to just bring these herbs in, and then we decided, well, let's do organic. And we used to bring organic herbs in. Well, we had the land. We thought, oh my gosh, she did her practice, and I went and started growing the herbs on the land, and it was called Herbal Posy. Well, I had a dream. I have dreams that come into reality. And the dream was this beautiful native woman with dark hair, and she was sitting in a corner with a big cape on. And I can't really remember the color. I think it was white, but I can't remember. I think there was red on it. And she said, she didn't look at me, but she said, you must call your tea company North Roots. So she told me that, and I woke up and I went, wow, you know, but I didn't listen to her right away. I kept calling it Herbal Posy, and then I called it Herbal Posy North Roots. And then finally it was like, okay, I'm sorry, forgive me. And I called it North Roots because that is my last name. Yeah. And the North and the Roots for me has helped root me into who I am becoming. Yeah. So it was very important.
Extremely so. Yeah, extremely so. I love it when spirit, to me, you are communicating with one of the grandmothers there, spiritually, with one of the grandmother guides that will come in and give such profound messages that you can go into dream state with, or in meditation. And as soon as you mentioned her, I thought, I know this lady, I've seen this lady. I could see her almost sitting there with the before you even said she had like a shawl, or I thought
a shawl. Yes, it was a shawl. It was a shawl
around her, and she's sitting there, and she's doing something with her hands like this. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something with her hands, and I'm thinking, I know this lady, I've met her before in meditation. So I call her one of the grandmothers, and that's like who I think you have connected with, who's helping you on that land.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. The plants do come in too. Also, I remember being with Christine, and we were in the forest, and she introduced me to lobelia, and lobelia is a very strong herb. It's amazing. It's very accurate. So it's very, it can make you sick if you take too much of it, but it helps with muscle tension. If you take a little bit, it can calm all your muscles and relax you. It also helps with people that have asthma. I had a problem. I had a child here that had asthma and forgot his puffer. And so I gave him the lobelia. And I mean, you have to be very cautious. It's not for everyone to use, of course. But when I was leaving her house, she said, watch your dreams at night. So of course, that night I sat with lobelia in the woods. And they say when they come to your dreams that, you know, they're offering themselves so you can work with them, which is so beautiful. You know, and I have worked with a native people, and beautiful native people, and I've gone to courses with one medicine woman, and she doesn't live far from here. And that night I dreamt of grandmothers and grandfathers singing to me and telling me that it's time to harvest. So I do understand what that means, because I kept wanting to go to school more and more, but my schooling is really the plants. And I do still study, and I will always study. I just find it so fascinating. It's like there is so much in one plant that it's incredible. It's not just, like I said, it's just not the chemical constituents. That's just a tiny little piece of it, you know?
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. The spiritual part is huge on the plants.
Yeah.
So they've been around from the beginning, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
So
we'll be here for long to come as well.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful?
I know. Survival. That's what it's all about. Survival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Kim, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. We will, as Michael says, promote your business and what you do.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to contact you, they can do so via your website, can they?
Yes, I have my email there also.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And can people just come and visit the farm, or do they need to notify you in advance?
They need to have an appointment. Just because, and I do that. Like if they want to have groups that want to come and visit and we do a talk, I do that also. But it has to be scheduled. Just because right now I'm mostly, barefoot and dirty from head to toe from the, from
a girl after my own heart there.
Right? That's my favorite way, really. Yeah.
Well, then when I come to see you, I will definitely call and email first. I won't just show up in the peppermints.
Thank you.
All right, my lovely. We shall say thank you once again, and we shall.
Yeah, it was a blessing to be with the two of you today. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And we are honored to be with you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.